still, like dust, we rise. And that's the magic of Black women. We rise. So welcome back to my channel, guys. I'm LaJoyce, and this is the Joy Journey here. On my channel, we discuss all things infertility and motherhood, just transitioning mindsets from being infertile to the mindsets of being fruitful and able to do anything that God has placed in our lives for us to do. On this channel, we discuss different ways to manifest what you really want, and I give you the tools to help you get there. I'm a nurse practitioner by profession, but I'm also an infertility coach by desire, and I believe that that was something placed and destined upon my life by God. Today, we are actually going to discuss something very dear to my heart, and that is African American women and infertility. It is Black History Month, so there couldn't be a better time to discuss that than it is this month. So that's what we're talking about today, how infertility affects Black women in a slightly different way. Here we go. Okay, why is infertility a disparity in African American women? Let's start there. And actually, I'm going to back it on up further than that. Back in the days, when our parents, grandparents had children, it seemed as if they were having multiples of children, 8 children, 9 children with no difficulties at all, and how the times have changed. Well, there definitely has been an evolution of when we actually begin to start families in general. And that's all women the same. We were putting off starting families for our careers, for building legacies and things of that nature. So already women in general are facing infertility at a much greater rate than it used to be way back in the day. Our eggs are healthiest between the ages of 21 and 28. And after the age of 35 is when our egg quality starts to diminish quite a bit. We're seeing compounded issues that are giving us these obstacles and hurdles to getting to building our families and expanding our families. Why is it that African American women take about 4.3 years to seek help or assistance with a reproductive specialist, or sometimes even with an OBGYN, versus our white women counterparts that usually seek professional help after about 3.3 years? I'll tell you why. One of the greatest reasons is because we do not have the appropriate education regarding infertility, our risk, and family planning. And the reason we don't is quite frankly, many of our practitioners, which may or may not be of African American descent, don't take the time to sit down with us and discuss these things in detail. Now, I was blessed with a fabulous OBGYN that happened to be African American, but many times OBGYNs that are caring for our sisters, for African American women, really take their time on referring out to a reproductive specialist. Way more time than needed. Lack of resources and funding is also another obvious barrier that we face when trying to expand our families and when considering things like IVF and IUI. I want to share with you a few things that you may not know about your reproductive health so that you can walk away just being a little bit more informed about what your chances are, what your choices are, and what things that you can do to empower yourself and make this journey more promising for you as an African American woman. Did you know that each month, on an average, a person with no complications or no known complications with having a baby has only about 20% chances of getting pregnant each particular month? So, and that's below the age of 30 that we're talking about. So what that means is within a full 12-month process, or within a full year, that individual has about 85% to 90% chance of getting pregnant within that year alone. As we age, of course, those percentages do decline. So let's take the woman like myself, who's 40 years old. Each month, with no known complications, I have a 10% chance of conceiving a child. Only a 10% chance each month. What that means is over the period of 12 months, I have about a 50% chance of conceiving at the age of 40 and beyond. Let's consider our population, Black women, compounded on top of the age factor. 50% of Black women have some degree of fibroids, small, medium, large fibroids. And a disproportional rate of us also have tubal defects. So that's something blocking the tubes. Might it have been a fibroid, a cyst, or some type of inflammatory process that's causing a blockage in the tubes? Due to those fibroids, many of us have already had multiple surgeries to try to remove them, shrink them, procedures to shrink them, bleeding issues. So we have those compounded issues of scar tissue and the things that we have to work around when it comes to that as well from those fibroids. And right now, guys, we have not even talked about the other things, unfortunately, that we might face along the journey to our children. There may be endometriosis, low ovarian reserve. There could be problems with PCOS, stress, depression, lifestyle, and the list may go on. Many times it's not even an issue with the woman in the relationship. It may be a male factor that we have not even considered. So this is the reason why reproductive endocrinologists exist. They exist to help face and conquer these issues that we're facing. However, with IVF and IUI, if you already have any of the latter issues with your eggs, your chances are still declined for those procedures working as well. Now, alternatives to combat that would be donor eggs, donor sperm, embryo adoption, or traditional adoption even. Those things take out the age factor where it doesn't feel so pressing to have to get pregnant at a certain time period. Okay, y'all, pause. I'm so sorry. I feel like such a Debbie Downer. Can anybody put a thumbs up in the comment section if you feel completely and utterly stressed out right now? I'm so sorry. So what do we do now, ladies? You know this is the joy journey, and I would not dare leave you with this doom cloud hanging over your head. I'm not going to do that to you. So even though it seems like the cards may be stacked against us, we are failing to mention one of the most important factors that's hardly ever mentioned in reproductive medicine, and that's our God. You guys, our faith in God and what He is capable of doing. Please do not underestimate His capabilities. So hearing from reproductive specialists can definitely send our minds on a whirlwind of negativity. Not only that, but sometimes we get on Google, sometimes we call a friend, sometimes we start researching and we find out things and we freak ourselves out. And it really does make us lose confidence in our own bodies, and it makes us lose focus on what God has promised to us. I was guilty of it myself. I'm telling you, my first reproductive specialist had me in tears. I was floored, crying in the car after the visit, like paralyzed. And it was because he told me that my chances of pregnancy were 1%. And he told me that it was 1% only because he wasn't God. And the great thing about that story is God showed up in that 1%. And He will show up in that 1%, 5%, 10% for you as well. We just have to believe that and not let anyone move us, move that mentality of being positive to being defeated. Please keep the mindset that you are fruitful, you are wonderfully made, and you're capable of doing all things through Christ. Let this process be a building block to a more intimate walk with God. Next, I want to share a few more things with you that I feel like you should know. If you are seeing an OBGYN and you've been trying for pregnancy for a few months and you've been concerned about infertility, and that OBGYN is telling you that they will not send you to a reproductive specialist for testing until you've tried for 12 months with no successful pregnancy while having unprotected sex, well, that's the half-truth. So if you are over the age of 35, you need to be seeking a reproductive specialist and having those tests done in 6 months' time. You guys, I did not know this. Like, I literally was trying on my own without saying a word for nearly 8 months before I was like, okay, should we refer? Luckily, my OBGYN had no resistance at all. She was like, yes, 8 months. You know, this has been quite some time now. Let's go ahead and get these tests ran. Let's refer you over. And she had no problem with it at all. Okay, next, for my sisters who are considering freezing their eggs, remember that the optimal time to freeze eggs are between the ages of 30 and 37, and the maximum time to freeze eggs from the literature recommends that you do it between the ages of 33 and 34. Those of us that are concerned about the quality of our eggs, either due to the age that we are or the diagnosis of low ovarian reserve at an earlier age, please believe that you can change the quality of your eggs. You can improve the quality of your eggs. Don't let anybody tell you that that's a hopeless diagnosis. It can be changed, and there is a greater possibility than you think that you can get pregnant with your own eggs. Consider making a change in your diet. Consider alternative ways of care, acupuncture and herbal medicines, and different supplements that you may not have considered before in order to improve your egg quality. It's a lifestyle change. In fact, I have actually left for you a little gift down below. If you click down below, there's a free list of supplements that you might consider if you're worrying about your egg quality or if you're just trying to get pregnant. Lastly, on this topic, I've mentioned before that 96% of women that have depression or high levels of stress will not get pregnant because of the stress and how it affects your body and your hormone levels. So you also can take control of that process by incorporating things into your daily living that decrease stressful situations. Of course, if it's a medication thing where you need medication, you want to seek professional help. But if it's more of an issue of just figuring out a way to decrease the stressors, try meditation, acupuncture as well, scriptures, diving into the word more deeply, taking time out with God. All of these things are de-stressors that can change and increase specifically your chances of pregnancy. So ladies, even though we may have a different set of lens, slightly different viewpoint and vantage point than some of our Caucasian sisters per se, just remember that, like Maya Angelou says, which is one of my favorite lines, still like dust, we rise. And that's the magic of Black women. We rise. So don't you dare be defeated. You will meet your baby. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, please subscribe. I'm so excited that we've hit 300 subscribers. I'm so grateful for each and every 300 of you. Thank you so much for being so supportive on this channel. I would like to get more. We would love for our family to grow. So please subscribe, like, and talk to me in the comments. Ask me questions. I'm always willing to address. You guys may have noticed that there have been questions that I've really addressed in every video that I put out there. So ask me questions on things you may need to know. If you need to contact me for any reason at all, you can email me. I'll put my email somewhere down here. I'm on Instagram. And also I have a link tree that I will place down below. Sending you so much love and light. I'll see you in the next video where we will be discussing how to make fertility smoothies.